Jesse calling us from Arkansas. Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Dan, this is Jesse. I really appreciate your show and all you do with the church and God's ministry, and I think that's a great blessing that you really bestowed to everybody, all of the listeners and whatnot. And,
Thank you.
I was gonna ask you real quick. I'm a partner on your website, and me and my wife are just trying to run our own little business right now and just kind of starting it up. And I was going to ask you, being a partner on your website, if we were to both, I'm 29, she's 28, we've got the Charles Schwab account, and go ahead and open up our Roth IRAs, and we've got the, your stock picks. If we were to just do that route solely as our retirement plan, 28, 29 years now, and then when we retire at whatever age, would that be a wise decision that you would think, and what could we expect as far as, average rate of return on a yearly basis, and if you would recommend any other supplement to just doing your stock picks on your website and your asset allocation?
Yeah, I think that would be a great plan. I do think I wouldn't recommend necessarily doing anything, to supplement it. I don't think it's necessary. But I would say this to you, Jesse, because I think this is an important point that I want to make as you follow that. So here's so over time, I'm going to say over the next 2 years, 3 years, you're going to have opportunities to pick, to look at some stocks that are good, solid companies that have been on my buy list, right? And you buy a few shares of one and a few shares maybe of another or whatever. Try to stay diversified, follow my asset allocation model. But at some point in time, in a few years from now, what you need to start thinking about is I've got my portfolio established. In other words, I own, ConocoPhillips, and I own a couple, I might own a utility. I might own a little small cap like this Pantry. I might own, this Stat Oil and, other kinds of companies. I think I've got Trans Canada on there right now. But, I have companies in different sectors. Ford Motor, that's one that's still on my buy list. And I want you to just think about adding to those positions. So I've got, you've got 20 shares now of Ford Motor. Maybe this month's contribution or next contribution, you buy more Ford. And you keep adding to those positions. So you eventually are going to have 10, 12, 15 positions. And I would add to them on a regular basis and just continue to do that. I can tell you, you'll be set. You do that for the next, I think you said you're in your mid to late 20s. You guys do that now until you're in your 60s. You're gonna be in great shape. You're not gonna have average return. You can back check all of these positions to see what they've averaged. But if you pick some of them, you're going to see that their 10-year average, some of their 10-year averages are in the 30 and 40% area. It doesn't mean they're going to do that in the next 10 years. I have no idea. They're going to go down. They're going to go up. But if you stick true to the discipline of continuing to contribute and continuing to work within this list, and you don't waver from that discipline, you don't go throwing in there some other stock, because what generally happens, Jesse, is we start doing good and we start thinking, wow, this is really good. This is working out great. This whole stock thing is good. And then we just start arbitrarily buying some stocks, or we don't pay attention to my buy list and we buy something that's not on my buy list, that's on my list that I track, but not necessarily on my buy list. And we start doing things that we kind of waver from the discipline. Don't ever put money into anything other than adding to a position. It's not on my buy list, so something you already own. And just, stick with the buy list and stick with that discipline, and you'll be fine. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's a fine place to be, and I would stick to it. Make sure you fill first with some big, solid companies. The Baker Hughes and the Ford Motors and the Goodyear Tires and International Paper and those kinds of companies. just to mention a few that are on my buy list this week. All right.
And you're saying, you know, we run our own little business, so you're only allowed $5,000 a year to put in a Roth IRA for